Hello there, people of the Anglo-Saxon, Germanic, Norse, Lion and the Arisator, people of Fanes of Fensida, Klingersarf and Wuffingersarf once again. I'm once again live for the next two chapters of the Havermal. I think, as you know from if you've watched today's blog, I wasn't cut off. So I think it was a storage issue, but like I say, I'm still not playing the Bears of music just to be safe. So I've got this on. It doesn't say there's any copyright to it in the description, so it should be okay. It's Adrian von Ziegler's Germanic music. So yeah, well, for those who have watched, Block felt really well today, home block. It was for Mother Nerthusblót, in the month known as what's it called, Havermal, meaning early month in Anglo-Saxon. Before I go on to the Havermal, I might as well do this as well. I'll explain what the block was actually about. So yeah. Nerthusblót is, Nerthus, goddess Mother Nerthus, is a mother goddess of peace. She roamed through most of Germania. She was said to be worshipped on the Baltic or somewhere, an island somewhere in the Baltic, Germania own in the Baltic Sea. So she was worshipped by the Angles, the Saxons, many other Germanic tribes. It says 7 in scripts, but I believe they all would have worshipped her at some point or another. Of understanding of research on my own, I also believe she would have come to Oxford in Mercia, southern Mercia, the Rollright Stones, for she was said to be consequential, if not worshipped in the right way. And I think the king of the and his men of the Standing Stones must have caught her off guard. Therefore, an obvious consequence being resulted in turning into eternal stone, and the trees surrounding the Rollright Stones are said to be connected to her, stated in my reading. She had slaves pull her cows for a chariot. They were sacrificed at the end of each blot. Because she was always covered, she didn't really show her face or under her clothing, and only the slaves and the priests got to see that, but the slaves were sacrificed, so they couldn't tell what they'd seen. She was a very private goddess. All worshippers were expected to, and still are worshipping her today, to store any blades away in a blanket or a cabinet or a case or a box or whatever of your understanding. For me it was a blanket. This will be repeated at a Klingersarf block. The blades will be blunt because it will be out in public, and the law is they can be used for realistic use in Angleland. I think they can be sharp as long as you can prove they're for illicit use, but just to be safe, the horsemen of a Klingersarf will use more blunt blades, and they're going to be wrapped away anyway in a blanket to show also the goddess, that they are not to be, well, they can't be handled in modern laws anyway out in public, but it's to show Nerthus ain't going to happen as well. But we put blades away, and I think September is the month, or Havermal is the month where we do not shed blood in conflict, and we do not kill or heavily injure by conflict other people. Not sure about injury wounds. Obviously I work in hospitality, so I'm prone to get a lot of cuts and burns, so I hope that won't affect it. It shouldn't do. I mean, the forebears would have got injured in work, surely. I think it's more, you can still be at peace having an injury at work. You're just going to get a little bit hurt by, the elements. But long as there is no conflict, it should be okay. Obviously, there will still be arguments. There's nothing said that you can't verbally, wit with people. It's just more physical contact and drawing blood. Anyone who watched the 80s series Robin of Sherwood, there is an episode where the sheriff of Nottingham actually leaves Nottingham and goes to London to help run somewhere down in London, and Sir Guy of Gisborne is actually left in charge after King John's visit. Well, Prince John he was at the time, but he actually left as king because obviously Richard died in that episode before. He left as king. Gisborne was left in charge of Nottingham after that. He invited some friends of his that I believe are either Breton or Frankish. It's one of the two. It doesn't actually state. Most likely Frankish, who served in the Crusades, and they were drunks, very abusive warriors, and they actually kept attacking the heathen village and Robin of Sherwood, and Herne was the one actually giving the blessing at this time. So I'm just skipping the ad, sorry about that. Herne the Hunter, said to be in Saxon mythology. We believe him to be sometimes known as the Green Man. He can be an element of Ingray. Some say it's a form of warding on the wild hunts. He actually gave the blessing, and in that episode it's actually said that they can't shed blood or kill in that episode as well. So that's very interesting, and I think the idea of that is from Havermal. I can't remember. I think it's definitely in season 1, or they call it series. They get more series, but it's pretty much the same thing. I'll call it season. Robin of Sherwood season 1. I'm not sure if it's on disc 1 or disc 2. But yeah, I definitely recommend watching that episode if you don't believe in drawing blood Havermal like myself. And hopefully by the end of Havermal September, we will have Nerthus's blessing, when at the time of our forebears, at the time of the gods, she would leave in her chariot, and then we can go back to whatever it was she would do it. It's almost like an inspection from the goddess, really, but it said she could help you with issues as well. So if you had an issue, they said she was quite good to talk to as well. Some say her name is very similar to the deity in Norse Njord, who we go by Hedingus. So it could be she's a goddess of wind. We had a lot of wind during our block today. So to me, she was responding as we were doing the block. I actually called the name at the start of the block, and if you actually watch the block video, you will just hear the wind pound the trees. And it was almost like she was responding. But anyway, now on to the Havermal show. I usually do these videos explaining blots, and we will be blotting for the same thing at Clingers Half in Pitchrow Wood. Oh no, actually I shouldn't reveal the location. It's our grove in the town of Redditch. If you live in Angleland, anywhere in the Blessed Isles, and you wish to join us, if way of getting to us, message me, message Chris Anglekin, message Ian Lordy, and we can give you the postcode and the meet-up time, and you're more than welcome to hold fifth with us. But anyway, here we go, chapter 62 of the Havermal. As per usual, I will go through Bray, who talks in very more ancient tongue in modern English. Thorpe, who breaks, it starts breaking up easier, then Bellows basically gives you the full detail, as I do every time I do this show. Hopefully it won't cut me off. I think it was a space issue, but if it does cut me off, I'm assuming it's the choice of music, but I'm hoping that won't. Here we go. Like an eagle swooping over old ocean, snatching after his prey, so comes a man into court, who finds there are few to defend his cause. Thorpe gasps and gapes when to the sea he comes, the eagles over the old ocean. So is a man who among many comes, and has few advocates. On to Bellows. On to Bellows. When the eagle comes to the ancient sea, he snaps and hangs his head. So is a man in the midst of the throng, who few speak for him finds. So let's try and break this down from Bellows. So when the eagle comes to the ancient sea, so the eagle's flying over the sea, he snaps and hangs his head. Hangs his head over the boat. They're obviously on a boat entering shore. Forebears. So is man in midst of a throng, who few to speak for him finds. So is a man in the midst of his throng, who few speak for him finds. So a man has entered the shore very confident and doesn't let a lot of his people that are with him have a say. He's obviously a person of status, and whatever he's doing or she's doing, enters the shore very confident. You know what this book says, you shouldn't always be overconfident, and that chapter will obviously come to us later in the Havermal as we go. It's one of the more common phrases took from the Havermal that everyone seems to know. But anyway, the eagle spotted this very cocky person on the boat. Still happens today. On to chapter 63, sorry. 63. Start with Bray, Fork, down to Mellows again, same as chapter 62. Each man who is wise and would wise be called must ask and answer aright. Let one know thy secret, but never a second, if thee 1,000 shall know. On to 4. Inquire the impact, should every man of sense, who will be accounted sage. Let one only know, a second may not. If they or the world knows. On to Bellows. To question and answer must all be ready. Who wish to be known as wise? Tell one thy thoughts, but beware of two. All know what is known to thee. So to question and answer, everybody in attendance must be ready. Who wish to be known as wise? So everybody wants to know what's going on in the scenario that's happening. Who wishes to be known as wise? We'll ask questions and must wait for the answers. Tell one thy thoughts, tell the people you trust your thoughts. But beware of two. By that he obviously means beware. There is probably someone amongst the ranks of this meeting loud, whatever it is. Let me just skip this abysmal advert. Go away. There we go. Sorry about that. Back to the Havermal. Oh dear, they really are trying to promote drunk, aren't they? Anyway, so back to the Havermal. Please excuse me for that interruption. I'm so sorry. I'll do try to mute the ads as quick as I can, and obviously get them skipped ASAP to get the music back. It just flings adverts at you like it does at a random time during the music. Does it with most videos, basically go on for longer than 5 minutes. Anyway, so to question and answer, everyone must be ready to ask questions and be answered. Who wish to be known as wise? They all want to know what's going on. They want to be in on what's going on. Tell the ones you trust, but in the gathering there will be ones that you probably can't trust, so beware of two. That's basically what he's saying. Beware of others others that are there that cannot be trusted and can go and tell your foe if they have a good relationship with your foe, if they are of false presence. All know what is known to thee. They will all know what is going on in the current situation. And that, everybody, is tonight's 2 Havermal chapters. And that, everybody, is another day done. There we go. 65 maybe done tomorrow, depending how my work shift goes. If not, it'll most likely be in the new week. I'll try and get on tomorrow after work. 9 times out of 10 I normally do. I didn't think I was going to come on tonight with the blot obviously happening, but I wanted to also explain to you guys more what the blot was about, as well as read them chapters. So yeah, there you go. Quite the video again tonight. Excuse me, I will. That's quite the feast today. Sorry about that. Anyway, but yeah, there you go. Another day done. May we have the wisdom to be, the honour to know. No, I'll repeat that. May we have the honour to be, the wisdom to know, and the knowledge to care. As our forebears did, so shall we. Wassail hail, drink hail, and. May you have a blessed what is left of your funnels day, wherever you are. Good, have a great evening, great afternoon, morning, wherever time it is, wherever you are. Remember, if it is Halig Monoff, wherever you are. If you're scared of spiders, be on the lookout. It is the time where they will come into your hearth. If you live in the southern hemisphere, who actually found out the forebears, what were they called in Australia and New Zealand? They were the Aboriginal people. And if you're down in the lands of the Aboriginal people, I believe that's what they were called. I hope there's no racist modern term for that. If there is, I do apologise. But that's what they were known as. Like how a lot of the Slavic people don't like being called Slavic, but that's what they were in the medieval times, and that's what the Aboriginals were. Just saying, not meaning it offensively. But if you live in the Aboriginal lands, then there are huge spiders lurking in them lands anyway, so you're probably used to them, or you have some very extreme method to kill them as quick as possible. But anyway, it is the time where they start invading our hearths, and if you're arachnophobic and horrified of them like I am, it is a hard time. It's holy time of the wheel, but it's also a very scary time because I generally can't stand them. It must be a Germanic thing, because the Celts never seem to be too bothered by them, but I am absolutely terrified of them. So it's going to be an interesting month. I have got a bit of a modern spray, it keeps me out, I'm not going to lie to you. Whether it works, I don't know. I sprayed it in the bathroom the other day. It's meant to last 6 weeks. My mum had a very big spider in there the other day. So it's obviously not that far in they're obviously not that far in the spray. So it's going to be a fun. Moon. But anyway, enough babbling from me. I'm Eorman Rich Nicholasson. Thank you. See you later. Good night, everyone.